This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
It's Tuesday, March the 3rd, 2015, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Good morning. We begin with news of the collapsed CLICO International Life Insurance Company. As it faces possible liquidation, a report submitted to the court has shown that lawyers and actuarial consultants hired by the judicial manager were paid more than $500,000 last year alone. That was in addition to nearly $9 million the judicial manager was paid up to June last year. The information was contained in the December 12, 2014 report of the judicial manager, Deloitte Consulting, that took over the company in 2011, which has only just been made available for public viewing. This latest report revealed what the independent legal counsel and the independent actuarial consultants have so far received, as well as the fact that the judicial manager's professional fees and expenses were $8.9 million at June 2014. The judicial manager engaged independent legal counsel to assist in its management of the estate and to address asset recovery and defense matters on behalf of CIL and the judicial manager. The fees of the judicial manager's legal counsel, Clark Gittins Farmer, from January 1, 2014 to November the 30th, 2014, are $287,950, together with expenses of $470 and VAT in the amount of $50,391, totaling $338,811. The 26-page document also noted that one Oliver Wyman was hired as an independent actuarial consultant to produce actuarial valuation of policyholder liabilities as at March 31, 2012 and December 31, 2013. The total fee of Oliver Wyman from June 22, 2014 to November 30, 2014 is $241,251. That valuation put liabilities at $368.5 million. Delinquent tenants of the state-run National Housing Corporation have been put on notice. Minister of Housing Dennis Kelman has instructed the NHC to call in tenants who are lagging behind with payments in a bid to clear the outstanding amounts. Kelman told Barbados Today the situation cannot be allowed to continue unchecked, particularly in light of the persistent financial issues which have been plaguing the corporation.
What I've said to them, if the world is in a crisis, people will be in a crisis too. And the same way we have a deficit, they will have a deficit. And the same way we understand that we have to pay our commitments, they also have to understand they have to pay those too. But we will take a people's approach to it. And that is, okay, you're in a raise. Start paying the car and pay something on that. It's not, we don't feel proud to have to send someone to collect or to post a notice. But most of the times when you see that happen is that we would have written and we would have asked people to come and they ignore us.
When members of the National Union of Public Workers turn up at polling stations on April the 1st to vote for a new executive committee, they will be casting their votes electronically. The NUPW's Acting General Secretary, Roslyn Smith, confirmed to Barbados Today that the General Council of the Union took the decision to introduce electronic voting at its meeting last week. A Canadian non-governmental organization has offered 9 to 10 voting machines to be placed at the polling areas. Danny Gill, one of the candidates in the presidential vote, says he did not have a problem with technology but had some concerns. Gill said when a ballot paper was placed into the machine, it starts to automatically count the votes. He is worried as to who would be in charge of keeping that vote secret until the end of the voting period. He fears that one can have a situation where someone who was not favorably disposed to a candidate could call someone to inform them that the other candidate was trailing and summon them to cast their vote.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Welcome back with news from the region that Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown is issuing a warning over what he sees as a new threat to the Caribbean's banking sector and to the region as a whole. Brown's warning comes as he was speaking at the just concluded CARICOM Intersessional Conference in the Bahamas.
Prime Minister Brown says the region is facing a new and potentially devastating threat because the region is being labelled as a high-risk area for financial services. He says correspondent banks in the United States and major banking centres in Europe are being made to evaluate risks versus rewards for doing business with Caribbean indigenous banks. He noted that offshore banks established regional financial centres in the Caribbean. According to the Prime Minister, because in many cases indigenous banks cannot provide a high level of reward, correspondent banks are closing their relationships with them. This is being done, he noted, because an arbitrary and unsubstantiated claim is being made that the Caribbean is a high-risk area for financial services. Prime Minister Brown cautioned that unless this situation is addressed with urgency, the financial services in every Caribbean country will be forced to close their banking doors.
On the global front now, Iraqi government forces say they have retaken some districts around Tikrit in their fight to recapture the city from ISIS. A force of about 30,000 troops and militia are said to be attacking on different fronts, backed by airstrikes from Iraqi jets. More in this BBC report.
It's the biggest fight back yet against so-called Islamic State. Iraqi forces pounding IS positions around the city of Tikrit. After the retreats and humiliation of the Iraqi army last year, this time they're strengthened by Shia Muslim militia and also local Sunni tribes opposed to the extremists.
This is for Islamic State, the rats. We will crush them into Tikrit.
There's been a change at the top too. Prime Minister Abadi is promising to retake lost ground from IS, or Daesh in Arabic, without taking revenge on local citizens.
I call upon you and all other commanders to deal with citizens well. Our goal is to liberate people from the oppression and terrorism of Daesh. We should protect the citizens and their properties.
And finally, Bill Gates has been declared the richest man in the world for the 16th time by Forbes magazine's annual ranking of global billionaires. The Microsoft founder once again beat Mexican businessman Carlos Slim to the top spot. Gates' net worth rose by just over $3 billion in the year to 13th February to $79 billion. There are a record 1,826 billionaires in the world, Forbes said, an increase of 181 in the past 12 months. Gates has now been top of the list for 16 of the last 21 years. Legendary U.S. investor Warren Buffett regained third place in the list with a net worth of $72.7 billion from Amancio Ortega, the founder of Spanish fashion chain Zara. And that's our Barbados Today morning news update, but you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 on Lime TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MindLime app. Now, what should I wear? #sexy.